What I do, folks, it is your host, Sensei on Popcorn and Pork Run's YouTube channel, and today we're going to unpack secular talk, very large creator, obviously, on YouTube, and they're talking about the CK evidence and everything that's happened, and they're unpacking it, and it's a really good video, and that's why I'm choosing to do this right now. Obviously, I don't do this type of content, but I will today. Because I feel like I have my little 2 rusty cents that I want to input and insert on this video. So let's unpack it together.
All right, welcome to the show, y'all. We got a lot going on today. So yes, later on in the show, I will talk about the news that just came out this morning, that there was a mass shooting at an ICE facility where immigrants were targeted. There are 3 immigrants dead. There are no ICE agents even injured. But given those facts, the right has still decided to go all in on shamelessly lying about this. So we'll talk.
So if you've been following this stuff, obviously we saw the bullets, or I don't know, maybe you didn't, but apparently people have came out and said, well, he was just a bad shot. How are you going to be a bad shot and only hit immigrants? Yes, I know the bullets had, anti-ICE on it. So we're just doing that now. We're just scrawling messages, leaving tiny manifestos on bullets and just leaving it. Okay. All right. Sure.
About that. I also have new Charlie Kirk evidence that absolutely changes everything. I'll be talking about that in just a second. Then after that, we're going to get to Trump crashing out in his speech to the UN. We have Kamala spilling the tea on 2024 to Maddow. We have Chuck Schumer is caving to Trump yet again in the shutdown fight. We have the failed Trump assassin. The verdict is in. Is he guilty? Is he innocent?
Mind you, we're watching this on 9:25 Texas time.
And that's a crazy story. There's some twists and turns in that one, so don't miss that one. And then later on, Trump is looking to bail out the crackpot Argentina president who tanked his own country. And Jimmy Kimmel returns and lights up MAGA in his defiant return. So we'll talk about all.
Obviously, with this whole Jimmy Kimmel thing, a lot of people felt that it was like, why? He's not that great of a comedian and his show sucks. And it wasn't about Jimmy Kimmel. It could have been anybody. It was about the First Amendment. But here we are.
All that and more. You guys know the drill. Everybody, please do me a big favor and subscribe to the channel. That helps out big time and costs you nothing at all. Thank you to everybody who's...
Nobody wants to subscribe to my channel anymore. Maybe I just suck. I don't care. I'm still going to do it.
Supports the show on Patreon. We literally could not do it without you. $2 a month goes a long way. $5 a month goes a long way. Because remember, guys, this is real independent media. I've never talked to an advertiser, never done an ad read, never talked to a billionaire, never talked to a PAC. We really built this thing from the ground up, and you guys made that possible, and I'm very thankful for that. And, of course, you can also go subscribe to the Corn's World YouTube channel, where we do live Kyle and Corn episodes every Monday at 8:30, and I hope to see you guys there. All right, let's go ahead and jump into it, y'all. So let's start with this. You all know the Charlie Kirk story has not been adding up at all. There's a couple things that I keep coming back to that I just haven't seen a sufficient explanation for. One of those things is that the shooter allegedly changed clothes 2 times. Why he did it 2 times, nobody knows. Nobody can explain why he changed twice and why he did it.
When this first happened, I heard that he had stuffed the rifle in his pants leg. He was walking funny, but also, I'm just going to let him explain it. It didn't add up from the very beginning.
At the times that they said he did it. Also, nobody can explain they allegedly disassembled and reassembled the weapon also multiple times. Nobody can explain that this particular weapon is notoriously very difficult to disassemble and reassemble. It's not really made to do that easily. Nobody can...
Well, he's not even speaking on what type of rifle was used, but it's fine because I'll throw it on the screen.
Explain how this particular weapon, even when broken down, it wouldn't fit in his backpack. Nobody can explain how the weapon was reassembled in the woods after the shooting when it allegedly was disassembled after the shot was fired. There's a lot that doesn't add up. Never mind the multiple
leaving it in the forest, wrapping it up in a towel, messaging somebody to retrieve the rifle. The story doesn't make any sense at all. If I was going to do this, I'm not talking to anybody. And yeah, you're going to have trouble finding that fucking rifle, and you're not going to have any shell casings. I'm not going to write on it, but I mean, I'm also not crazed, and I'm not a government psyop.
Decoys that were in the audience that, I there's no explanation that makes sense that includes those people unless they were involved in the plot. And the FBI is trying to pretend like they weren't involved in the plot. And in fact, those people have been let go. So as you all know, I've had many questions about, what went on here. And it seems like, I got to be honest, it seems like originally I thought I'd be in the minority, but no, I'm not. I appear to be repping the majority position, certainly among people left of center, but even among people right of center. I know that certainly MAGA leadership is trying to make this about Trantifa, blame trans people, blame Antifa, but it's not working. And
if you look at the stats, there's a certain demographic of person that does these things. And to target a very small community, that is what I do believe he mentions it, but yeah, you can literally see the stats of who goes out there and does this stuff.
It's not working because they keep trying to get away with preposterous things. So here's a great example of that right here. Fox News tweeted this a couple days ago. Man of Steel. Charlie Kirk's body stopped a bullet that would typically just go through everything, and it was an absolute miracle. Nobody else was killed, his surgeon told TPUSA. It is insane that in the year of our Lord 2025, they wrote this with a straight face. I mean, this is humiliating. They're actually making the case that Charlie Kirk is unique among billions of human beings, and his flesh, his blood, his bones are just that much stronger that they were able to stop a bullet that others just would have no chance of stopping whatsoever. Now, that gets to the main point here, which is the story they were telling originally was, okay, the shot that hit Charlie in the neck, well, first it had to ricochet off of a bulletproof vest he was wearing, and then it went up, which is why the entrance wound was so large. Because normally an entrance...
Yeah, I've seen it from every angle, supposedly behind, supposedly somebody was behind him, in front, it was closer than normal, just zero consistency. Zero.
Entrance wound is actually very small. Like, usually where the mess happens is the exit wound. That's where you see, sort of the flesh explode and the blood come out. And so the fact that the entrance wound appeared to be so big, the explanation was, hey, the bullet ricocheted off the top of his bulletproof vest and sort of went in almost sideways or tumbling, and that's what led to the...
Ricocheting off of a bulletproof vest. Ricochet. So they don't know how bulletproof vests work. Also, ricochet? But anyways.
Huge open wound in the blood immediately coming out. But here's the thing. Erica Kirk has subsequently come out and said he wasn't wearing a bulletproof vest. Not only that, but some people say, you could see in certain clips from certain angles, certain pictures, you could actually see a little bit of the outline of his nipples through his shirt, which would again prove he's not wearing a bulletproof vest. Okay, so then, so if you throw out the bulletproof vest aspect of this, well, then you open up a whole can of worms, because now it's like, well, that can't be an entrance wound.
I accidentally saw the video, specifically on TikTok, go figure, and it looked cartoonish almost. And I'm not saying that as a joke, because it caught me off guard for one, but instantly I felt something's off about this. And if you've seen the video, it doesn't look normal. It literally doesn't look normal at all. And I feel like that initial video that people saw, just people watching the video, not being there, they're going to go down these rabbit holes. They're going to start developing, ideas that are kind of, I guess, unnatural, right? Because obviously there was people there and they saw it, right? There's people that were recording. There's cameras there. But why are we in this position of questioning all of this because of the shooter and how they got there and how they got away, and their father or roommate supposedly turned them in, None of it makes sense. None of it.
Anymore. That looks like it's probably the exit wound because that reacted like an exit wound, right? Okay. So now, and the funny thing is, you know who's really making a big stink about this? It's the right-wingers. Because it's the people who are very well-versed in gun culture, and they know the facts and the evidence and how these things work.
So I don't understand why people think that everybody on the right has guns and doesn't go hunting and or has been in the military. But apparently just only the far right is gun experts. I mean, I'm not right or left. I look at it like this. Right is right and wrong is wrong. I don't care. I don't align myself with, the right or the left, because once that side becomes wrong, so I'm just like, I'm stuck. That doesn't make any sense. Like, politics shouldn't be based on, well, I'm going to stick with this side no matter what. That is crazy to me. But anyways, far right, gun experts only.
Because they've been shooting guns their whole lives. And so we have a bunch of people who came out and talked about this and were like, nah, bro, this simply does not add up. So here's one right here. I want to play this for you. Take a look.
You know how many people hunt out there and know exactly what a 30-06 round does to an elk skeleton or bone? We're not dumb. This ain't going to work. This man of steel, his bone density, let's talk about this, okay? Let's talk about some things a 30-06 can do. From out to about 400 to 500 yards, the 30-06 can penetrate elk bone. Why is that significant? Elk bone is significantly more dense and strong than human bone. Why? Because elk get up to almost 1,000 pounds. And so the bone has to be extremely dense to carry that much weight. Now, let's compare it to human, okay? Well, for one, let's talk about where Charlie got shot. He got shot here in the carotid. If that did hit a vertebrae in his neck, let's understand that neck vertebrae is some of the most fragile bone in the human body, because it's so flexible to handle what we do with our neck. So what they're telling you is a 30-06 round, which can blow through elk bone, was stopped by Charlie Kirk's neck and a vertebrae. If you believe that, God bless your little heart. Now let's look at this actual ballistics test. All right, so we're going to watch a video from U.S. Overwatch. He just put out this a day ago. Very good video. Let's check it out. I'll put his link in the pinned comment and description if you want to watch the whole video.
So our first shot will be a cold bore shot, and we will just see what kind of results we are able to duplicate.
All right, so he's got some very thick bone here across the strap of this dummy. Obviously, this would be far thicker and stronger than a human vertebrae in the neck. Let's see what this 30-06 rounds does to it. Wow.
And that's not even the
I almost feel like the ballistic test, they should just up it a notch. They should throw some steel in there. They should throw all types of stuff and see what type of damage it does with something that is more dense than bone. But, I don't have a ballistic dummy. I don't have any of this stuff to go out there and test it myself. Obviously, a lot of people has done it. I don't own a 30-06. I don't own a bolt action anything. But, you got to kind of rely on other people to do these tests.
Gelatin test. I know you've seen it with, gelatin. And, I've seen, the head get straight up blown off from a 30-06 round. This is not... There's no way that the weapon that they're saying was used, right? It was definitely a different weapon. Now, at this point, we don't even know where the fucking shot came from. More on that in a little bit, but I'll keep going here.
All right, from this angle, as you can see here. Huh. Not only does it go through that bone, it explodes the bone, blows through the dummy. Also, as we'll see here in a second, blows through the wall behind it.
Like we did kind of also think, the bone stood no chance against a 30 caliber round traveling at that high of a velocity. So now we're going to give it reset it back up and put the ballistic plate in front of it and see if we can't duplicate that shot as well.
Right now, he actually shoots a ballistic plate with 30-06 round. Destroys the plate. Seconds he's there, just rip the entire half of that plate off.
What
so
the
there you go,
fuck?
guys. You just saw, right there for you, 30-06 round. Damage it's going to do, went through way bigger bone than a vertebrae, through the dummy, through the wall.
I wish they would have did it at an elevation also. Do it at an elevation. Is it 200 yards away? How many yards away are you shooting this 30-06? But it doesn't matter because it's a 30-06.
Blew the entire top section of that ballistic plate off. But Charlie Kirk's neck, flesh and a little vertebrae, stopped that round.
So now everything's in question. People are saying the kind of gun is in question, the round is in question, the direction of the shot is in question. Basically, people are not buying anything. And if all of us can look at what they're presenting and rip it apart to this extent, what do you think a good defense attorney will do? I'm telling you, there's like almost no chance whatsoever that Tyler Robinson is found guilty based off what we've seen so.
Yeah, people were talking about there was a camera behind him, and the camera was taken, the SD card was taken, there was like a trap door that was there, they paved over that area already. None of this stuff makes sense. None of it. We don't even have to talk about the shooter at this point. A lot of people were acting very weird. People were talking about, people behind him doing signals and all this other stuff, and it already looked weird to me when it initially happened, and I started seeing these videos and not even listening or having these conversations with people. It was just my initial thought is this doesn't seem right
so far, because their story does not add up. All right, so more. Now, like I said, all this is hitting a fever pitch online. So what happens? Well, the FBI director, Kash Patel, he comes out and says the following. Ready? As the director of the FBI, I am committed to ensuring the investigation into Charlie Kirk's assassination is thorough and exhaustive, pursuing every lead to its conclusion. The full weight of America's law enforcement agencies are actively following the evidence that has emerged, but our efforts extend beyond initial findings. We are examining every facet of this assassination. We are meticulously investigating theories and questions, including the location from where the shot was taken. Wait, hold on. So that sounds like you guys are kind of admitting the shot maybe didn't come from the front. That the original story you tried to convince everybody of was complete and utter horse shit. This is what he's saying. Hey, we're looking into maybe the shot came from elsewhere. Wow. Okay. He says the possibility of accomplices, the text message confession and related conversations, Discord chats, the angle of the shot and bullet impact, how the weapon was transported, hand gestures observed as potential signals near Charlie at the time of his assassination. This is something I showed you, I believe, right after it happened in my long segment on it. A lot of people isolated. Looks like these people are given signals who are next to Charlie. He says we're looking into that too, okay. And visitors to the alleged shooter's residence in the hours and days leading up to September 10, 2025. Some details are known today, while others are still being pursued to ensure every possibility is considered.
Might I add that when this happened, they instantly came out, the government, and said, oh, the lunatic left. The lunatics did it. The left did it. The left did it. Okay, we don't even know who the shooter is, and we don't have any evidence. We don't have no information, nothing. They instantly came out and said that, right? Before any of this stuff hit the airwaves or hit the internet, but they instantly came out and demonized that part of the population.
Our primary focus is to complete this investigation and deliver justice, to protect the integrity of the investigation and subsequent prosecution. We cannot release every piece of information we have to the public right now. We will ensure every question is addressed at the appropriate moment. Regarding specific details, such as questions about the plane that allegedly turned off its transponder after departing from an airport near the assassination site, we can share updates when answers are confirmed. After interviews with the pilot and consultation with the FAA, we determined the transponder was not turned off. Incomplete flight data in rural areas cause the apparent gap. The entire FBI mourns the loss of Charlie Kirk. We will not rest until justice is served, and our investigation into this assassination will continue until every question is answered. So the thing about the plane there, he's alluding to something we had brought up, that soon after the killing, there were they didn't shut down the airport. There were small planes still taking off, and one of those planes sort of went off radar for a little bit. Basically, he's trying to address all of the chatter online and the conspiracies and people saying, hey, this doesn't make sense and that doesn't make sense. But okay, here's the thing. First of all, you would have been the ones to fake the dialogue. The text messages you guys released, it sounds like you motherfuckers faked it. And I don't trust anything from the MAGA DOJ and the MAGA FBI. I trust nothing from them. But furthermore, bro, this is why you don't put a podcaster in charge of an investigation.
I want to add that I didn't trust the government before all of this happened. Now I really don't trust them.
This is why you don't do that. This is why you have seasoned veterans and experts who know this stuff to do this stuff. They fired the top FBI person in this region of the country not that long before the shooting happened. And now he's running around like a chicken with his head cut off and his thumb up his ass, and he doesn't know whether he's coming or going. And this is him just desperately trying to quell the online mob, saying, oh, no, we're looking into it. We promise we're looking into it. Are you? Are you? Because Tyler Robinson is insisting he's not even the guy who did it. And now everybody's starting to have questions about that he looks like a fucking patsy. Now it genuinely looks like, even where they say the shot came from, the shot didn't come from there. That Occam's razor is the shot didn't come from where they say it came from. Right? So then it's like, okay, well, where the fuck did it come from? Well, I've seen theories, none of them particularly convincing, but I've seen theories of like, oh, this person to the side of Charlie did it. And then I've seen other theories that say, no, this other person to the side of Charlie did it. Then I've seen theories of, there's this guy in like a corner and, you know, and very pixelated, but you can zoom in and see him from a distance. There's a guy with a sniper rifle tucked away in the corner.
There was a interview of a guy that had it looked like a black glove, and he had he was in a suit, and he had a bag, and it looked like a rifle strap. That guy has a fake arm. If I can find that video, I will put it here and I'll play it.
So, like, people are trying, but I don't know. Nothing's really totally satisfying here. But let me give you some more. So, this was a video that dropped recently as well. This guy has his own theory that he wants to share with you. As we proceed here in this segment, you're going to see everything I've given you so far is pretty much rock solid, right? Everything I've given you so far, the fact that they're saying he's a Man of Steel, no, he's fucking not. That's bullshit. The fact that now the story about the bullet in the gun makes absolutely no sense. That's a fact. Kash Patel is scrambling and basically being like, oh, we're on it, but yeah, I guess we don't know what the fuck happened either. Well, now
I do not believe 1 second that they're scrambling to do anything, because I honestly feel, based off of everything that I've seen and the Dallas shooting, that they're behind it. That they're the ones behind it, but also they're doing a very bad job. And maybe they're doing a bad job on purpose, which makes it even more diabolical. But I don't know. This is just an opinion.
Go through here some of the theories, and we're going to start with somewhat plausible, and then as we go on, it's going to get into Crazyville. Okay, but let's go. Here we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, I now have acquired proof that the FBI's official story is false, whether knowingly or unknowingly. We're going to have an entire monologue and talk about a lot of these things after I show you this, but if you take nothing else away from this video, you need to see this.
And in that video, you can see the same, what appears to be the bullet coming down, and it does line up with the actual gunshot itself. So you're not counting gang violence. Great.
So this video was created by a friend of mine who is a Marine. You'll see him here at the end. This is the angle he is showing the shot coming from, showing where Charlie was sitting, and the angle of the shot, which will correspond with this video here, which unfortunately we will blur out Charlie's face, but we will show what is necessary to prove that this was an entry and exit wound. So you'll see him circle the highlighted area right there, and you'll see the exit wound corresponding after, split second after, as it would from an entry and exit wound. So in this footage, you can clearly see that Charlie is shot from his back right, and there is blood splatter coming out of the entry wound immediately after a shot. The first arc is kind of down, as if it's just gushing out from the entry wound, and then the second shot...
Now, we can say that the angle that they said initially was from the building at an angle and, going, entry, exit. The back would be sprayed with blood. It would be covered. But if you watch the initial video, well, this one, you'll see where the blood is coming out. But I guess that's neither here or there.
Corresponds with when his head kind of snaps forward, that fluid then flips up in relation to that motion, so you can see there's that second splatter flipping up into the air. This is something that I hadn't seen to this date. I saw this for the first time late in the evening yesterday, and I decided that this needed to be put out immediately.
Okay, you can stop playing the video.
Talking about this. So big shout out to my friend who actually found this and created this video. You'll see him here in just a moment, but let's just one more time look at this shot.
We don't need to.
Bullet comes in that circled area. You have the blood splatter go down, then up, and then immediately after, you see the exit right here with the skin being pierced, and then the exit wound emerges. And again, that is not a far distance for a bullet to travel, whatever the caliber is, whether it be 5.56, 308, 30-06, it's not even a debate at this point. It doesn't matter what caliber killed him. What matters is that the official narrative is not true. Again, whether the FBI knows or not that they're lying, but This is 100% conclusive evidence that Charlie Kirk was shot in the back of the head, and it exited through the front of his throat. All of the evidence points to Charlie being shot from his back right.
My
now,
God.
including this little blood splatter that we can
There's
see here against the
still-
white backdrop, the extreme hemorrhaging from the front of his neck, which again corresponds with an exit wound, the extreme loss of blood. No matter what the caliber is, that distance, that amount of meat is not enough for most bullets to expand. I mean, 99.9% of bullets will not expand in that short distance. Most of them require 12 to 14 to 16 inches even sometimes of tissue to expand properly. Also, Charlie tensing up correlates and proves that he was hit in his spine. It's a spinal injury. Any of the game that I've shot in the neck or in the high vitals where you impact the spine, the game usually drops right in its tracks because you sever the spinal cord. This is again exactly what we see with Charlie. He tenses up. His head movement also correlates with being shot in the back of the head. His head snaps forward, and then he tenses up, and you see him fade away, drop the mic, and was absolutely traumatizing video footage. And I'm sorry to have to show you guys this again, but this needs to be seen and talked about because this is going to be suppressed in the algorithm. So make sure you share this with any of your friends, your family members. Save this video, whatever you need to do. So this video was actually provided to the channel by a friend of mine who is a Marine, and I forgot to show you the end of the video here. So this is my friend who actually made the video. I want to just give him a shout out. I will link his socials down in the description below. Again, he is the one who brought this to my attention.
Okay, so the stuff about it looks like he was shot from behind and that was the exit wound, that honestly makes more sense to me. Now, the deeper question, though, is who would have been there and had the ability to do it? Because it looked like, from most of the camera angles I've seen, it looked like there wasn't much room for any...
Let's say that that's true. Wouldn't other people have been near that person that did that? Because they wouldn't be on a roof or anything. They would be in the crowd or something, right? Or were they on a different part of a different building on the roof? See, more questions.
Anybody to be there, right? Now, he says, he brings up this portion here, I'll go back to it, where, you know, they say, oh, this is where the guy is shooting from. But if this is where the guy is shooting from, my understanding was that this was more front right of Charlie. This wasn't back right of Charlie. This was like front right of Charlie. So I don't know how they could take a shot from there and have it enter, you know, back here and the exit wound be front left. So I don't know, the lines, he draws a line here to sort of make it seem like, oh, the lines work out. I don't know, based on, see, he's drawing a line here, but my understanding was that this line, if you actually drew it properly toward Charlie, this would be like a front right shot at him. It wouldn't be a back right shot. So I'll let it keep going here, because then he draws this other line, which sort of implies, like, yeah, oh, this is where it would hit him. I don't think it is. I thought that there was that was more front right. So parts of this kind of make sense. The tiny blood splatter coming out of the back first sort of implies to me that would be more of the entrance wound, right? And the size of the wound in the front does make it seem like it'd be an exit wound. But again, I'm not an expert. But the terrifying thing is, we can't rely on Kash Patel and the MAGA FBI to actually get the right answers and give the right answers. I mean, how hard did they try to pin this thing on fucking trans people? They tried so many ways. It was a trans shooter. You had 4chan doxing 3 or 4...
Groypers and Nick Fuentes, right? That's a whole nother one.
Different trans people who didn't do it, by the way, trying to ruin their fucking lives. Then they moved it to, oh, there's trans stuff on the bullets. That's not true either. Then they moved it to finally, oh, he's got like a trans partner, a roommate or something. So they kept moving the trans goalposts, but obviously, ideologically, they just wanted to blame the left. They wanted to blame trans people, so they're blinded by their bias. So you can't trust shit coming from these people. Nothing at all. But, you know, people are starting...
I think it's giving them too much credit saying that they're blinded by their bias, especially if they were the ones that were behind it. There's no biasness. You know, it's literally just a spin in order to segue into taking everybody's guns and rights. But here we are. Again, an opinion.
Trying to dig deep. So this is one theory that went out there. This thing has gotten a lot of traction, by the way. A lot of people are talking about this. Like I said, I've seen theories that the shooters were directly to his side. I've seen different people singled out as the shooter to the side. But let me keep going here. So this is the other thing people have been talking about now. They're going deep on Erica Kirk, and they're learning more about her background. So this person says, hey, media, what are the odds of Turning Point President Erica Kirk and Virginia prosecutor Lindsay Halligan being on the same stage in the same Trump-owned 2009 beauty pageant? And so you dig deep on Erica Kirk, and you find out that she...
Nobody's talking about the fact of what she said at that little eulogy where, you know, you can see his hands, she's holding a medal, and she mentions blueberries, and there's a connection with blueberries and Nazis. Also, with the Turning Point USA banner, there's 2 lightning bolts. Now, I don't know if that's by coincidence, but it's still very weird.
Did the Miss USA thing, the Trump Miss USA thing. Another thing about her past. She, apparently her mom, they moved to Phoenix because her mom got involved with the government. She got a job with Homeland Security and the Department of Defense. So there's links between her mom and the U.S. government. People are also pointing out Erica Kirk apparently worked for this, like, Christian missionary thing in Romania, and the Christian missionary thing she worked for in Romania were allegedly disappearing children. And, you know, that begs the question, well, what the fuck were they doing with them? Is this some sort of trafficking thing like we've been so concerned about vis-a-vis Epstein and stuff like that? And people are making these videos, bro. These videos are, first of all, they're blowing up. But second of all, it's one of those things where it's like, you can drive yourself crazy connecting the dots on this shit. So here we go. Watch this.
Charlie, I love you. Erica Fronts Day, Arizona.
So that's her at a Trump Miss USA pageant. She did one in 2009. I think she did one in 2012. This is her at the event. Trump owns the Miss USA pageant. The Erica Kirk, Romania. This is what I just told you about. Romania probes Israeli adoption agency link in organ trafficking. What the fuck? What the fuck? Oh, that's the other thing. She has told a story about how her and Charlie met. I don't remember all the specifics, but it was something like on a plane to Israel or...
Also, somebody else or people had mentioned that they scrubbed everything off the internet when they're making the connection with her father also. So I don't know how true that is because I haven't deep dived it. But yeah, what's up with the father?
In the airport on the way to Israel or on the airport on the way back from Israel.
They're accused of training children in crime and sending them west.
We as the American people deserve to have every Epstein file released.
That's where I disagreed with Charlie. I hate my opponent.
The $12 million fortune Charlie Kirk leaves his wife and kids following shooting. Nearly $5 million raised for Charlie Kirk's family.
Someone else had mentioned that when they had this, whatever it's called, in Arizona, they had to book that in advance. And I did find that kind of strange. Like, how were they able to just go and hold this event in this very large stadium very fast? Apparently it was booked in advance.
Following assassination, as Turning Point USA sees upwards of 18,000 new chapter requests overnight.
Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein? This guy's been talked about for years.
Well, I think they gotta make this right.
And are people still talking about this guy, this creep? That is unbelievable.
I was definitely trafficked. Romanians adopted as kids now seek justice, answers as adults. Then, all right, now we're going to layer deeper. Ready? We're going to level deeper here, bro. See, now we're getting into all the, like, the conspiracies we've talked about to this point are more or less within the realm of not insane. Now we're getting to the sort of stuff that the flat earth community, there are certain theories that they are gravitating to about the shooting, and we're going to walk through some of them here. So one of the things some people are saying, and to be fair, I don't know if this one is actually flat earth. This might be just short of the flat earth community here. But they're saying that the video of Tyler Robinson allegedly running across the roof, that particular video is AI, that's faked. And
I strongly believe at this point that the rabbit hole is very deep. Too many dots to connect. And even with all this information, what are we going to do with it? You know, they're still doing whatever the hell that they want. And, you know, whether we get to the truth, what's going to happen? What's going to happen? They're still fighting to release the Epstein files on top of that. And then, of course, the shooting that happened in Dallas and leaving bullets yet again at the crime scene. and anti-ICE written on the bullets. None of this, to me, seems like it's true. And a lot of people are saying they're bumbling, they're idiots, and a lot of people are pointing the fingers, saying it's the radicalized left, and nah.
Do they want to silence people who are raising questions, who are asking, really, what does this mean? How can you do this? I mean, what are you talking about? You have no scientific evidence. You have no basis for that. But that raises a larger question. I mean, we have, and I include myself, we have got to stop demonizing each other.
Exactly.
Yeah. Now, I think most of that right now in our country's history is coming, from the right, coming from people who want to dominate. They want their point of view. Writing out slavery from history, that doesn't make it go away. We have got to stop with the finger pointing and the scapegoating. We can have legitimate disagreements. Right? I mean, how do you provide quality, affordable health care to everybody? Let's figure that out. How do you deal with what's going to be job loss from AI? Let's get working on that. That's what we should be doing, but we should do it in the truth-based reality that we have to live in. Facts and evidence have to matter again. And then we can start having good debates. When I was in the Senate for 8 years, I